as you can hear with the initial startup, there is a little bit more sound there. Most of that sound has to deal with the downpipe being catless now. And if you didn't hear the sound clips from before and after the catless downpipe, I'm gonna leave the video link for you guys right over here. And I wanna say thank you to everybody who commented on that video, letting me know that there was a little bit of rattle there, letting me know that some of my clamps might not have been on as tight as possible. So I did go ahead and tighten those back up. So if you heard any rattling there, that's probably just from the expansion and the heat absorption from the metal throughout the exhaust system. I didn't notice any additional smells coming through the cabin, so if not for you guys, I would have never noticed that the clamps were loose. And now all of us can be rest assured that the clamps are on tight and that the rattling is not coming from the looseness of the clamps on the downpipe. And while we're on the topic of sound, I am happy to say that as a daily car, the M235i with the catless downpipes and the Stage 2 tune, it's not that loud. And if it is a little bit too loud for you, say in Sport and Sport Plus mode, then by all means, start up your car, drive it off in Comfort or Eco Pro mode, and then as soon as you've cleared the neighborhood or the workplace, go ahead and put it in Sport or Sport Plus mode. Even in those two modes, let's say you're coming into work and it slips your mind that you need to put it in Comfort or Eco Pro, it's still not that loud. The only exception that I'll say here is that when you're starting up your car, when it's warm, it does this nice little growl sound. And I'm not sure if that growl has something to do with when you're tuning the car in Boot Mode 3, it asks you if you want the car to have higher revs during a cold start in order to warm up the cats. And if you deselect that option, what the car will do is it'll start in its baseline RPMs because there's nothing to warm up. But if you like that little bit of growl in the car when you first start it up, I would say just keep it on. Even though nothing's gonna get warmed up, the RPMs will drop a whole lot faster versus if you had a catalytic converter. But it gives you that nice little growl and it's more prominent when the car is warm. And if you've been following along with our upgrade progression here, Boot Mode 3, if you've gone up from Stage 1 to Stage 2, the improvements that you've noticed in Stage 1 should set the expectations very well for you when you go to Stage 2. Especially if you follow the upgrade pathway of doing the bolt-ons and then the tune. So doing everything one at a time here. When we did the Stage 1 tune, first thing that we did was we upgraded the air filter and then we even put in an air scoop. That air scoop, it made the throttle feel more responsive, it made the pedal feel more linear, and we felt that we could climb higher and higher into the RPM ranges a lot easier, and there wasn't, say, like a flat zone there. And then once we got the tune, it enhanced all of those things. The tune in this case, for Boot Mode Stage 2, because we've done the downpipe, it allows us to accelerate and have a smoother acceleration, especially through the shifts when we're climbing up into our gears. Here you can see that we have all the options for the Stage 2 tune. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how to actually install boot mode, go ahead and check out the video where we actually installed the Stage 1 tune, and the only thing different is that you're gonna select the Stage 2 tune for your car. If you guys are looking to pick up a license for boot mode, the link will be down in the description. I got mine from a buddy of mine who's local here. He has a shop. It's called SV Bimmer. Go ahead and hit the link there. With the $50 off-the-shelf maps, you get everything. So if you want to go up to Stage 1, later go to Stage 2, or if you get Stage 2 but end up not liking it and want to go down to Stage 1, you have that option. And $50 when you're already spending $600 on the tune itself, what's an extra 50 bucks? I didn't get the aggressive tune because yes, it is too loud for me, it is too aggressive for the places that I typically go to on a day-to-day basis, I honestly think it's a waste of gas. Because although the burbles sound cool, in essence what a burble is unspent fuel that didn't combust in the engine that combusts in the tailpipe, exhaust, downpipe, whatever. It expands or combusts at some point in the exhaust versus the engine bay. That does not yield any better results as far as horsepower or anything like that. It's just a cool cosmetic effect that you get. And yes, if you get it with the tune and it's a simple byproduct of the system, that's great. But to coat it in my opinion, on a daily, it's not worth it. And that ties nicely into the next topic, which is this a daily drivable car? Is this tune possible for somebody who wants a daily of their car? And I'm gonna say absolutely yes, because as you can hear through the sound clips, it doesn't get too loud if you control it. If you know right away that you're gonna be in a situation where you don't wanna draw too much attention, it's not gonna be that loud. Even if you try to make it loud, you have to really try for it to make that sound at that volume. And the cool thing is that BMWs, they always start up in comfort mode. They don't start in sport or sport plus mode that I know of. So you can always start your car and be rest assured that it won't be too loud. And if you're concerned about smell, that shouldn't come through the cabin of the car at all, especially if you tighten down your clamps all the way, and more so if you're using the auto start function in the BMWs. Because when the engine turns off, there's nothing to smell. When you start and when you start to roll, the exhaust gases are all the way behind you, and you should not smell any of that. So if you smell any of it, tighten down your clamps and you should be good to go. So this car is 100% daily drivable with the catless downpipe and the Stage 2 tune. One of the reasons why I got the M235i is because I loved the power to handling ratio. I thought it was perfect right out of the gate. I had an E36 M3 and I felt that the handling was way too stiff for the amount of power that that car had. I was very happy that I could get out of any situation that I wanted with the E36, but I definitely felt that that car needed more power for the handling capability that it had. Now that we have the Stage 2 tune with the catless downpipe and the intake improvements, I feel that the power in this car exceeds the handling capabilities just a little bit. I'm happy that we actually completed the $1,000 challenge at this point. The next thing that I'll probably do is some regular routine maintenance, which I do need to do on this car. Any non-essential upgrades that I'm gonna do are probably gonna be related to handling. I really have a big philosophy when it comes to handling versus horsepower. Ever since I was in my first accident, I crashed E36 328 IS, and I realized that horsepower modifications are great and they're fun, and they will put a smile on your face every time you're getting on the freeway, anytime you legally want to race somebody, or anytime that you just pull ahead. It puts a smile on your face. When it comes to handling modifications, so anything suspension related, and I'm gonna even include tires in this, it doesn't put a smile on your face, but when you use it, it puts a smile in your soul, like in your heart. Because when you really need the suspension and the handling, it's to get out of an accident. Whenever people almost get into an accident, or when they do get into an accident, some of the things that they always say is, I wish I upgraded my brakes, I wish I upgraded my tires, I wish I could have handled my car better, I wish my car had the capability to handle better. Especially on a daily car, because it's in stop and go traffic, you're driving with other people, so you're not able to really floor it and just go. You actually have to handle and maneuver, and let's face it, not everybody's a good driver. Not everybody's as good of a driver as you or pays attention. Some people get lazy, some people fall asleep, and you want your car to be able to handle under those situations. So tuning and modifying your car for the scenarios in which that it's most likely going to be driven is very important. And for me, this being my daily car, I'm gonna keep these modifications in here, but I'm gonna go to something more suspension and handling related in the future. The most pleasant surprise for me with the Stage 2 tune is actually the shifting. Now, I drive a manual transmission car, so I can only imagine how much more enhanced it is in an automatic transmission. But typically, under hard acceleration, like that, the car will typically throw you back a whole lot. And I'm happy to say that with the Stage 2 tune, it doesn't do that as much. It smooths out the transition phases. So typically you have that jerk, especially under hard acceleration. But the way that I'll describe it now is when you're shifting gears, it's almost like you're coasting in neutral. I know literally that you are, but you coast in neutral, and then the friction zone in which that you could catch the clutch when you're letting up on it, it's a lot smoother. It's a lot more gradual. It's not like a hard jerk forward. I'd say it's the difference between driving over a smoothly paving speed bump versus one of those ones that's like short and high, and then you just go over it and it's like boom, 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 boom. That's the difference. It really smooths out the transition between your shifts, and I love it. Even on the downshifts, the downshifts don't jerk you too hard. And for the purists out there, you might not like that. You might want that raw feeling of the car pulling you forward. And it did throw me off a little bit too, because since I do drive a manual transmission, I count on a lot of the physical mechanisms and the handlings and the dealings of the car to tell me how fast I'm going, since I don't always look down at the speedometer or odometer to let me know when I need to shift. I really rely on the feel and sound of the car to let me know what I need to do. Now, smoother shifts will also translate to a lot less wear and tear on the car. The engine mounts and the transmission mounts aren't going to be as much under stress anymore, and the car doesn't have to handle those dramatic shifts in momentum anymore. So you're going to be saving a little bit on gas. And the thing that I love about the Stage 2 tune is that it allows you to do other bolt-ons along the way. We only did the downpipe for a Stage 2 tune, but the Stage 2 tune also accounts for a resonator delete as well as a muffler delete. I'm not going to do any one of those in the near future, but the other thing that people don't really take into consideration when they do the Stage 2 tune is the spark plugs. Pro tuning freaks, they recommend the AGG spark plugs. I'm going to leave the link for those down in the description. They do recommend those, but those come pre-gapped at 0.32 or 0.31 inches, and Pro Tuning Freaks recommends that we actually close that gap to 0.25 inches. And that falls for any tune that is under 30 PSI, I believe. And for some of you, that might not be enough, but for a daily driven car, it is more than enough. You're definitely going to be happy with it. Don't fall in love with the numbers. This is something that I would say the butt dyno really matters more than the literal dyno. You won't regret doing this modification. You won't regret anything that we did in the $1,000 challenge. Now, if I left anything out in this initial review, please leave your questions for me down in the comment section below, because things are going to come up as I'm driving this with the tune as well as the bolt-ons. And don't forget to pick up any of your GroomTuber merch as well as all the modifications that we used in the $1,000 challenge down in the description. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.